For good news tomorrow when the Federal Reserve meets, and that optimism pushed stocks higher today. The Dow is up 7.5% this month. The census calls have stopped. The door-to-door canvassing is over.
But you are still paying for it. CBS 4 investigator Brian Moss has learned taxpayers paid for 140 census managers from this area to fly to Las Vegas to talk about how the 2010 census went.
We talked to one Colorado congressman. He says this is worse than waste. He actually calls this theft. He says there was no reason for so many census managers to fly to Vegas on our dime.
The Census Bureau has not received your form?
The census taking wrapped up this month, but a CBS 4 investigation learned that as the information gathering wound down, something else began. 140 census managers from this region flew to Las Vegas August 24th. They came from Colorado, Wyoming, Utah, and 7 other states in the Rocky Mountain region, meeting in Las Vegas for several days. They all stayed at the Treasure Island Hotel and Casino on the Vegas Strip. The meeting was for debriefing, says the Census Bureau, calling it routine and vital.
I think it's the equivalent of theft. And I think what you have here is, in fact, an organization that is stolen from the American people.
Colorado Congressman Mike Coffman supports after-action reports, but Coffman says they could have gathered the same information by email, written surveys, phone calls, or video conferencing, and saved a bundle.
It's impossible to argue this without saying that these folks took a vacation, and they took it at taxpayers' expense.
Meals alone ran at least $25,000, roughly $20,000 to $25,000 for hotel rooms. Figuring each plane ticket at $250, that's $35,000 for air travel.
We've got to send the message that this behavior is wrong.
Barack Obama has scolded CEOs for trips like this.
You can't go take a trip to Las Vegas or go down to the Super Bowl on the taxpayer's dime. There's got to be some accountability and some responsibility.
And as president, Obama has taken shots at frivolous Las Vegas junkets.
Don't blow a bunch of cash on Vegas when you're trying to save for college. You prioritize. You make tough choices. It's time your government did the same.
The Census Bureau says it chose Vegas because rooms were cheap and it's an easy flight from anywhere in the Denver region.
We wanted to have some face-to-face meetings so we could drill down and cover some key topics.
But couldn't that data have been gathered and captured in less costly ways than flying everybody into Las Vegas?
This is standard practice, management practices that are used, and we're doing this in this particular instance because it's very important. We want to get that local knowledge.
Little consequence to critics who say this trip never should have happened.
You need to be respectful of the taxpayers of this country. Don't waste their money on a 3-day party in Las Vegas or anywhere else in this country.
And there were actually a lot more dollars spent. We learned that every one of the Census Bureau's 12 regions across the country held the same sort of post-census meetings in their individual regions. So there were a lot of other flight, hotel, and other costs associated with this after-action reporting.
All right. Thanks, Brian.
Yep. Your health insurance